I came home and immediately showed off what I bought to my parents. Mom, Dad, look what I got. But Dad flinched back and Mom jumped on the couch. Get that thing away from us!
Ava, have you lost it?
My name is Ava. When I was a kid, I found a huge barbell beetle under a rock and squealed with delight. I adored the insects that other people found disgusting. Mom flinched every time I brought home a new friend, and Dad always said,
Ava, please find another hobby. Knitting, basketball, something normal.
But there was no stopping me. Of course, I wanted to have a real pet, a bird-eating spider, or at least a small snake. I followed my parents around and promised to study hard and do the dishes, but no matter how much I begged, they didn't budge.
No reptiles in the house.
By the time I turned 15, my obsession only got stronger. The only person who fully accepted me was Miss Hudson, my biology teacher. We could spend hours discussing why Brazilian wandering spiders had such huge legs or why ball pythons were so calm. At school, I was seen as a weirdo, to put it mildly. Some of my classmates teased me without malice, but Max, the biggest bully at school, drove me up the wall. For some reason, he loved picking on me.
Ava, how can you be friends with spiders? They're so stupid.
That stung, you know? But I was still determined to get a pet. I decided to save up money and put all my pocket money in a box. A whole year went by. During that time, I didn't buy any treats, not even ice cream. And then one day, I walked into a pet store and saw him. Baby, look at you. You're so cool. Oh, I know. That's what I'll call you, baby. I knew right away that he was meant for me. I bought him without hesitation and immediately ran home. I'm sure my parents will love you as soon as they see you. Mom, Dad, look what I got. But Dad flinched back and Mom jumped on the couch. Get that thing away from us!
Ava, have you lost it?
We argued for about 40 minutes and then I just went to my room and slammed my door shut. I sat there with baby and listened to my parents talking in whispers in the hallway. They were trying to figure out where they went wrong with me. The next day, I brought baby to school. I wanted to show him off to Miss Hudson. But as soon as I took baby out of my backpack, everyone lost it.
Help! It's a snake!
Ah! Get it away from me! Everyone climbed on top of their desk. Someone started to cry. Baby got scared and crawled away. I was running down the hallway trying to catch him while everyone else was panicking. The teachers were running around like crazy. The students were screaming, and only Miss Hudson kept her cool. She saw baby, calmly approached him and carefully picked him up.
Ava, you know that I support you, but school is not the right place for such pets.
Sorry. That evening, I got the scolding of a lifetime. It turned out that the principal had called my parents. They were furious and took away my computer and pocket money.
I forbid you from going out or watching TV shows until you return the snake to the store.
No, baby's staying with me. The next day was Saturday. I was sitting in my room with baby and thinking that it was probably very boring for him inside of the terrarium. I decided to take him for a walk, like a dog. Why not? He needed sunlight, fresh air, and new smells too. I remembered that everyone at school had almost been scared to death by baby and knew the same would happen if strangers saw him on the street. So I wrapped him in a soft throw blanket and hid him under my dress before leaving the house. If you subscribe to the channel and like this video, you will soon find a surprise where you least expect it. Before going on a walk, I decided to grab a coffee at a mall. But then boys from my school walked into the elevator with me. One of them was Max. I immediately tensed up. The lights blinked, and the elevator jerked and stopped. I pressed a few buttons to no avail. Then the boys noticed that my belly looked suspiciously big.
Ava, how many donuts did you eat? Can I touch it?
I was so nervous, I wanted to scream. But then, Max suddenly said sharply,
Hey, leave her alone. Seriously.
The boys exchanged a glance and fell silent. It was the first time I saw Max act, well, normal. The elevator moved again in 5 minutes. The boys left and I breathed a sigh of relief. I bought a coffee and went to a park. There, I finally let baby out on the grass. He was so beautiful, slithering there like he enjoyed every inch of his freedom. But when I turned away for just a second, baby disappeared. I ran around the clearing, peering under the benches and into the bushes. My heart was pounding and my hands were shaking. Then I heard a scream. A snake! There's a snake! I ran there. A crowd was pointing at baby crawling nearby. I quickly picked him up, but then a police car stopped next to me. The cops came out of it and the crowd started to complain. This girl took a dangerous animal out on a walk. It could have bit someone. I tried to explain that the ball python was not poisonous, that he was just my pet, but the cops wouldn't listen. They grabbed me by the elbow and they put me in their car. As I sat under a lamp at the police station and listened to the cops type something, I thought for the first time that maybe keeping baby was more trouble than it was worth. 20 minutes later, Mom and Dad arrived, red-faced, angry, embarrassed, and ready to kick me out on the spot. They signed some papers and then we drove home in such silence that if I had a spider with me, I would have been able to hear it move its legs. When we got home, they tried to change my mind again. Ava, please, let's return the snake to the shop. We're not your enemies, we're just worried. But I was on the verge of tears and refused to listen. I went back to my room and slammed the door shut. The next day, I decided to leave baby at home. To be honest, I was tired of the freak show at school and hoped to avoid a repeat performance. When I came to school, I was sure that everyone would whisper behind my back and call me a psycho. But then Max came up to me.
How are you feeling?
I almost fell to the floor in shock. Who knew that he could be so kind and affectionate? He smiled like we were friends. I looked at him and had no idea what was going on. At recess, he suddenly brought me donuts.
If anyone bothers you, tell me. I'll deal with it.
I almost choked. It was like Max became a completely different person overnight. I didn't know what to think, but I was starting to like the attention. After school, I came home, went up to my room, and immediately realized that something was wrong. The terrarium was open, and baby wasn't in it. I ran around my room, looked under my bed, in the closet, beneath my desk, in the bathroom, even the laundry basket. Nothing. Where's baby? They looked at each other, and Mom said in a quiet, guilty voice, "We took it back." I exploded like a pressure cooker. I don't remember what I screamed. All I remember is that I said I didn't want to see them again and ran out of the house. I ran to the pet store. The cashier recognized me, sighed, and said, "Are you sure you want to take the snake back?" To be honest, I almost said no. I remembered everything that happened, the police, the school, my parents, but then I looked at baby in the terrarium, saw his calm gaze, and realized that I couldn't leave him here. Yes, I am sure. I took him back, but as soon as I went outside, I realized that I didn't know where to go. My home wasn't an option. My parents definitely wouldn't want to see me or baby, so I went with the only person who always understood me, Miss Hudson. She opened the door like she was expecting me. When she saw baby, she sighed, but didn't seem surprised.
Come on in.
She fed me, gave me a blanket, sat me down on the couch, and said that I could stay with her until I sorted everything out. We played with baby all evening, and everything was fine. But then I realized that I was bored. I played with him mechanically like I was moving a toy in front of a kitten.
Remember, a pet is a responsibility. It's not a toy or a way to stand out. If you aren't ready for that, you shouldn't get a pet in the first place.
I told her that I was definitely ready, that I knew everything about pythons, and that I loved baby. She just nodded, but I could see in her eyes that she didn't believe me. The next day at school, Max stopped me again and shoved a bag of fruit at me.
Here, you need it now.
I'd already stopped trying to figure out what was going on in his head, but I won't deny that I liked the attention.
Are you sure you'll be able to take care of your baby?
I thought he was talking about my pet, and I told him that my parents didn't want to see baby, that I spent the night at my teacher's place, and that everything was really complicated. Max listened carefully and clenched his fist.
How could they do that? Your parents should be happy about the baby.
I was glad to have someone on my side. I even promised to introduce him to baby after things got better. But when I returned to Miss Hudson's place that evening, everything went wrong. I let baby out on the table, and he crawled around as usual, but then he accidentally knocked a cup off the table, and it broke. I yelled at him even though I knew that he was just a snake and didn't know that cups shouldn't be broken.
Ava, are you sure you're ready to take care of him for the rest of his life?
This time, I didn't say anything. That night, I kept tossing and turning. I was thinking about everything that had happened over the past few days. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I loved loved Baby, but love was not about playing or going on adventures. It was about responsibility. The next morning, I realized that I wasn't ready, and I decided to take the python back to the pet shop. Perhaps another owner would be able to take better care of him. The next day, I brought Baby to school. I wanted to go to the store and return him after classes, but as soon as I entered the school, I saw my parents. They immediately ran up to me. Ava, you're pregnant? Are you crazy? Why didn't you say anything? I almost dropped the terrarium. What?
Max came over last night. He asked us why we didn't want to see your child.
Are you serious? I'm not pregnant. At that moment, Max came up to me. He heard me and looked like he had just found out that the earth wasn't flat.
Wait, what do you mean, not pregnant? I saw your belly back in the elevator.
That's when it dawned on me. Max thought I was pregnant because I had been hiding the snake under my dress. Max, it wasn't a pregnant belly. It was a snake.
A snake? But you said baby.
Yeah, that's his name. Let me introduce you. But when I looked in the terrarium, it was empty. Oh no, Baby ran away again. Once again, the school descended into chaos. Teachers were running around. Students were screaming. Some people jumped on the desk. Some closed classroom doors. Miss Hudson looked into all the cracks in the school, but Baby was nowhere to be found. He just disappeared like he always did at the worst possible moments. Max turned around and stormed off without saying another word. My parents grabbed me by the hand and took me home before I could do anything else. When we got home, I apologized for a long time. Not even for buying the snake, but for running away from home, for making them worry, and putting everything on hold because of my stupidity.
We knew where you were. Miss Hudson called us and told us you were at her place. She asked us to let you cool off.
There was another question I was dying to ask. Do you really not like animals?
We do, but we knew you weren't ready for one yet. Having a pet means caring for it. That's why we were against it.
That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling and thought again about everything that happened. About my teacher, my parents. I knew they were right. No matter how defensive I got, the truth was that Baby was missing because of me. Where was he now? Was he alive? The next day, I was scrolling through the news and saw a headline that made my heart skip a beat. A snake crawled into an elderly woman's house at night? The victim got scared and called the emergency services. The reptile was transferred to the city zoo? I knew it was my baby. I ran out of home and sprinted to the zoo so fast that I could have won the school race. Once I got there, I immediately saw Baby in a terrarium under a lamp. He looked calm, like he didn't care about the old lady, the first responders, or my endless adventures. A zoo employee came up to me.
Hello, can I help you?
This is my python. He nodded and said that if I filled out some papers, I would get my pet back. No, he ran away because of me and scared that woman. I did everything wrong. He'll be better off here. Can I come visit him though?
Of course.
Since then, I tried to take responsibility for my actions. I didn't succeed right away, of course, but I made an effort. I visited Baby every weekend, brought him treats, watched him calmly crawl around the terrarium, and realized that sometimes love was about letting go. I also plucked up the courage to talk to Max. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to deceive you.
It's okay. I thought that you were in a difficult situation and had no one to help you.
Why did you decide to help me, though?
My mom had me when she was 16. My father abandoned us right away, and her parents refused to accept both her and me. It was a very hard time for her. When I was a kid, I saw how much of a toll it took. So when I thought you were pregnant, I wanted to help so that you wouldn't have to go through that.
In that moment, I saw him in a new light. Not as a bully or a class clown. I saw a man who knew how to be responsible. Teach me to be like you. He smiled.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Time passed. I still like spiders and snakes, but I no longer acted on the urge to get a pet. To my surprise, Max and I became an item, and one day he gave me a small potted flower.
Here, learn how to take care of a plant first.
And do you know what I realized? Loving animals is great, but you should be prepared to be responsible for your pet. To be the person who gives it security, love, and a peaceful life. Only after I learn how to do all that will I get a pet again. For now, I'm still learning.